Vine's POV. I woke up when the sunlight crossed through the window and flashed on my face. Blinking away the remnants of sleep, I stretched and yawned, feeling the warmth of a new day wash over me. With a tired smile, I threw the cover aside and swung my legs out of the bed. After freshing up, I heard my mom was calling me for breakfast. As I descended the stairs, my anticipation was met with surprise. I saw three unexpected guests, a middle-aged man and a woman with a warm smile and a strikingly handsome guy who seemed to wait an aura of confidence. When my dad noticed my presence at the top of the stairs, he turned his head and smiled. Vine's dad. Vine, come join us. He called me, drawing everyone's attention towards me. A mix of emotion was swirled over me. With the hesitant steps, I descended the rest of the stairs and approached their table. Vine greeted the unexpected guest with a polite smile, but her attention was quickly diverted when Mr. Kim, her dad, asked her to fetch her sister Luna. Nodding in acknowledgement, she made her way upstairs to Luna's room. As she entered her room, she overheard her talking to her boyfriend on the phone. They seemed deeply engrossed in conversation. Luna, yeah, I'll talk to my parents, she said lovingly, her voice filled with affection. Luna, I love you too, baby, she added before ending the call. With a playful smirk, Vine couldn't resist teasing her. Vine, oh, so you have a boyfriend, huh? You didn't tell me. Luna blushed and replied shyly. Luna, yeah, we have been dating for the past year. Vine pouted, pretending to be hurt. Vine, but you didn't tell me, Unni. Luna, oh, I'm sorry, my little sister. Vine, acha, alright, no worries. Come downstairs, mom and dad are calling you for breakfast. Luna nodded and together you both headed downstairs. Just before you reached your parents, you couldn't resist whispering in her ear. Vine, is your boyfriend handsome? Or is he just like you, ugly? Luna shot you a fierce glare and you both went towards your parents at the table. Mr. Kim smiled. Oh, here she is. Everyone turned their attention in your direction. Luna's confusion was evident as she looked at Vine, seeing unexpected guests. Mrs. John smiling. You both daughters are so beautiful. Mr. and Mrs. Kim smiled. When Jungkook looked at you, Luna smirked mischievously after hearing Mrs. John's compliment. Luna whispered, see, I'm beautiful. You raised your eyebrow playfully. Vine whispered teasingly. She's talking about me. You know, she just complimented you as she thought that you would feel sad if she called you ugly. Don't get or cloud nine. Luna lightly hit your arm and shot you a death glare. Luna, shut up. The moment was filled with sibling banter hidden behind smiles and glances. Mr. John, Luna, what job are you doing? Luna looked at them, little confused, but replied attentively. Luna, actually, I am doing modeling and acting. Mr. John and Mrs. John nodded and smiled when Jungkook was silently observing Vine and Luna. Mr. John, alright, good. Mrs. John smiling. I really like your daughters, Mr. Kim. I don't know why, I just met them today. I'm really liking them. Mrs. Kim smiled. Mrs. Kim, that's good, Mrs. John. After all, she would be your soon-to-be daughter-in-law. Mr. and Mrs. John smiled when Jungkook looked at you both. You and Luna were so shocked and confused at your mom's statement. Your expression suddenly changed into shocking when you both looked at each other with wide eyes. Mr. John, yeah, I like your daughter, Mr. Kim. So from our side, it's yes. Both of yours heart was beating so fast when you were looking at them shocked and Jungkook was noticing your expressions. Mr. Kim smiled. Wow, that's good. It's yes from our side also, Mr. John. We also like Jungkook. Everybody smiled except Luna, Vine and Jungkook. Vine looked at her mom in confusion when she gave her a reassuring smile. Mr. John, go Jungkook, you and Luna should talk to each other and know each other. When finally you got relieved that they were not talking about you, your expression changed into relief but again into shocking and stressing because you realized that Luna had a boyfriend. Luna was silent for a moment when Mr. Kim spoke. Mr. Kim, Luna, go with Jungkook. You both can talk. When Jungkook spoke, Jungkook, actually, I have some important work. I just got a message, so I have to leave. I'm sorry, excuse me. Mr. and Mrs. Kim nodded in understanding, while Vine and Luna were left in a whirlwind of emotions, processing the unexpected turn of events. Jungkook greeted them and quietly left the room. Luna silently retreated to her own room without uttering a word. Concern filled in your eyes as you watched her go. You were about to follow her when you overheard Mr. John suggesting, Mr. John, I guess if everything is fine, let's conduct the wedding next week. What do you think? Mr. Kim with a smile responded, Mr. Kim, yeah, that's perfect. Your heart skipped a beat and you rushed to Luna's room. Inside, you found Luna in tears, her face buried in a pillow. Your heart ached for her and anger boiled within you towards your parents for arranging her wedding without her consent. You approached Luna and sat beside her. Vine, Unni, please don't cry. We'll talk to our parents. They can't do this. Luna remained silent, her sobs the only response. Frustration welled up within you, and you decided to confront your parents, no matter the consequences. Heading downstairs, you found that Johns had left. Your parents were happily chatting. You didn't care about the timings. You were determined to make them understand. Vine, how can you do that? They both looked at you with confusion. Mr. Kim, do what? You sighed heavily. Vine, how can you fix Unni's wedding without asking her? Mrs. Kim retorted. Mrs. Kim, what should we ask her, huh? What are you saying? Do you think we would arrange her wedding with the wrong person? Frustration and anger welled up within you as you replied, Vine, I'm not saying that, Mom. You should have at least asked her. It's her life. She should make decisions about her own life. Mr. Kim's tone turned stern as he ordered, Mr. Kim, Vine, leave. You looked at him confused. Mr. Kim, Vine, I said leave and go to your room. I don't want any argument about this. Frustrated and aware of your father's strict and unyielding nature, you retreated to your room, muttering to yourself about the situation. Vine talking to herself. Yeah, what do you think, huh? If he's stubborn, then I am also his daughter. I'll not let Unni marry Jungkook. Determined to find a solution, you decided to check on Luna and offer her some consolation. When you entered her room, you met with the sight of her tears. Your heart ached for her, and you approached her with words of comfort. Vine, Unni, don't cry. I'll not let this happen. Luna still sobbing. Luna, what will you do, huh? You know Dad is so stubborn. He will not listen to me. You, however, wore a confident smirk. Vine, you don't have to tell him anything. Luna, huh? Vine, do you love your boyfriend? Luna, yes, but why are you asking? Vine, do he loves you? Luna, yes, of course, Vine. Vine, are you both ready to get married? Luna, yes, but why are you? Vine, wait first, answer my questions. What does he do? Luna, he is also a model. Vine, alright. Luna, but why are you asking? Vine, trust me, Unni, I was just planning something. You left her room, leaving her in state of confusion. The week passed swiftly, filled with wedding preparations. Mr. and Mrs. Kim were excited and busy in the wedding preparations. Little did they know that behind the scenes you were meticulously planning to prevent the wedding from happening. Your determination was unwavering and your every move was calculated. Meanwhile, in the Jeon household, preparations were in full swing to welcome their new daughter-in-law. The air was filled with excitement and anticipation, but Jungkook remained unusually silent. It was as if something weighed heavily on his mind, something he chose not to share. Emotions swirled beneath the surface as the wedding day approached. Mr. Kim invited all his business friends and partners, but you were resolute in your mission to stop the wedding. Mr. and Mrs. Kim were oblivious to your plan when something unexpected happened. The unexpected turns of events left everyone in shock and chaos. Mr. and Mrs. Kim were frantic as they entered the bridal room searching for their missing daughter Luna. Mr. Kim worriedly panicking. Where is Luna? Whined nervously. I don't know, Dad. I just went out to get some water and when I returned, she was gone. Mr. Kim seethed with anger while Mrs. Kim tried to calm him down. Mr. Kim, what will we tell the Johns? What should I do? Mrs. Kim, honey, let's check the security cameras. Vine couldn't help but smirk inwardly. She had already taken care of cameras. Mr. Kim, yes, let's go. Vine in her mind. Yes, go ahead. What do you think? That I am so foolish that I wouldn't disable the cameras? Mr. Kim and Mrs. Kim hurriedly left to review the security footage, but you were unaware that one camera was still active, a fact discovered by her father. As they reviewed the footage, they were shocked to see Vine helping Luna escape from the wedding venue. Mr. Kim's anger boiled over and he rushed back to the bridal room where Vine was calmly waiting. Mr. Kim angrily entered the room, banging the door open, his face red with fury. Vine nervously in her mind. Why is he so angry? Oh no, could he have found out about my role in this? Mr. Kim, how dare you? Vine, what happened, Dad? Mr. Kim shouting. What happened? Really? You are asking what happened? Mr. Kim, you helped your sister, right? Vine's eyes widened in surprise. Vine, no, Dad, no, why would I? Before you could finish, a sharp slap landed on your face, causing you pain and shock. It was your own father who had struck you. You stared at him with a mixture of anger and disbelief. Mr. Kim, now you are lying to your father? You shot him a death glare. Mr. Kim, don't you dare to look at me like this, alright? Vine, I will look like this. Do you have any problem? Mr. Kim shouting. How dare you? Vine, don't shout at me. Are you even worthy of being called a father? You were willing to marry your own daughter to him for the sake of business, weren't you? Mr. Kim angrily looked at her. Vine, just to expand and improve your business, you were going to marry my sister with an unknown person, right? Mr. Kim, Vine, you are crossing your limits. You let out a bitter chuckle. Vine, I guess you're forgetting that unfortunately I am your daughter. If my dad can cross limits, so can I. Mr. Kim glared at you and Mrs. Kim worried interjected. Mrs. Kim, what should we say to the Johns? There are so many business partners here. We'll be embarrassed. Mr. Kim glaring at Vine. She will marry Jungkook. You stared at him, shocked and wide-eyed. Mr. Kim, yes, if she made the mistake, then she has to correct it. Vine, and do you think I will do that? Mr. Kim, yes, of course. Vine, never ever. You were about to leave the room when you saw your father pulled out a gun from his pocket and your eyes widened in fear and disbelief. Vine, do you think you can scare me with this? It's better to die than to live with you. Mr. Kim smirked and pointed the gun at Mrs. Kim's head. You and Mrs. Kim's eyes widened in terror. Vine, what are you doing? Mr. Kim, if you won't marry Jungkook, I swear I will kill her. Now the choice is yours. You were shocked and conflicted. You knew your father loved your mom, but his anger issues were a constant source of concern. You couldn't trust him when he was in this state. Mr. Kim was about to pull the trigger when you spoke, panic evident in your voice. Vine panicking. Wait. Mr. Kim and Mrs. Kim looked at you. You sighed heavily, feeling defeated and heartbroken. Vine, fine. You gave your father a resentful glare. Mr. Kim quickly lowered the gun. Mr. Kim, get ready in 5 minutes. He left the room, followed by Mrs. Kim. You sat down holding your head in your hands, a sense of frustration and defeat washing over you. Meanwhile, in a private conversation between Mr. and Mrs. Kim. Mr. Kim, I am sorry, honey. I had to stage that drama because I knew she would never understand or agree to this wedding. Mrs. Kim, I understand, dear. Sometimes you have to take unconventional measures. They exchanged a smile before deciding to call Mr. and Mrs. John to explain the situation. They called them in a room. Mr. Kim, I am sorry, Mr. John. I am feeling really ashamed. Mr. John, no problem, Mr. Kim. I understand. This is not your fault. If she wasn't ready, she should have communicated that to you. Mr. and Mrs. Kim shared a glance. Mrs. John, it's okay, no problem, but what we will tell the guest. Mr. Kim, Vine will marry Jungkook if you agree. Mr. and Mrs. John exchanged glances and nodded. Mrs. John, alright, I agree. After all, I really like Vine. She seems really nice girl. Mrs. Kim smiled. Mr. John, alright then. The scene shifted to the wedding aisle. Vine walked down the aisle with her father, wearing a bridal dress. Jungkook's gaze locked onto her, and he couldn't hide his surprise and confusion. Jungkook's POV. As I waited for the bride to approach, I saw Vine in her bridal attire walking towards me. I was both surprised and confused, but deep down, I felt a sense of happiness. I had liked Vine from the moment I first saw her. When I found out I was going to marry her elder sister Luna, I kept my feelings to myself, but now it felt like destiny was conspiring to bring us together. I couldn't help but feel genuinely happy. What started as a forced marriage was beginning to feel like the right path. Vine's POV. I don't understand why this is happening. Why all of this is happening. I am feeling so frustrated and nervous right now, and my anger towards my father is boiling inside me. How can he be so selfish? And then there is the groom, Jungkook. He's looking so handsome. He's just standing there looking at me as if I'm some kind of ghost. How could he agree to marry me so quickly? It's unbelievable. This whole situation is so frustrating. As you stood beside Jungkook, your irritation evident in your demeanor, you couldn't help but give him a deadly look. Jungkook, who had been silently watching you, quickly averted his gaze, feeling somewhat flustered. Why in her mind? Why is he staring at me now, idiot? Jungkook in his mind, oh no, why did she give me that look? But she looks cute. He couldn't help but smile inwardly, finding your reaction amusing. The priest proceeded with the ceremony, asking the crucial questions. Priest, do you Kim Vine accept John Jungkook as your lawfully wedded husband? Vine sighed heavily, her inner turmoil evident. She muttered to herself. Vine, no, I don't. Priest confused. Huh? Vine forcing a smile and looking up. Huh? Yeah, I accept him as my husband. Jungkook looked at Vine and couldn't help but chuckle softly. Priest, do you John Jungkook take Kim Vine as your lawfully wedded wife? Jungkook, yes, I do. The priest pronounced them husband and wife, and Vine's discomfort was palpable when the moment for a kiss came. Vine in her mind. Oh, kiss? No, I don't want that. Jungkook took a hesitant step towards Vine, who looked at him with a strange expression. He swallowed nervously and glanced around for a moment. Then he took Vine's hand and gently kissed it, much to her relief. Vine in her mind. Yeah, good boy. Jungkook in his mind. Of course she is uncomfortable. I can understand that. No problem, I'll try to make her comfortable. Together they walked towards their parents. Mr. John smiling. Welcome, daughter. You are now a part of our family. I know this happened all of a sudden, but I can assure you that you will not regret marrying him. My son is very caring and responsible. He looked at Jungkook, who passed a warm smile to him. Mr. Kim, yes, she is very lucky to have him. Vine gave her father a sharp look but held back her response. Vine in her mind. Everybody is standing here, otherwise I would have given you a proper answer. Time skips. As you both entered Jungkook's mansion, the reality of being married started to sink in. Jungkook took the lead, offering to show you to your new room. Jungkook, let me show you a room. You couldn't help but raise an eyebrow with a hint of sarcasm. Vine, you mean we will share the room? Jungkook chuckled nervously. Jungkook, yes, after all, we are husband and wife. Your initial reaction was resistance. Wine, never. I'm not gonna. But your conversation was interrupted when Mr. and Mrs. John entered the scene greeting you with smiles. Mrs. John, smiling. Welcome, Wine. You forced a smile in return. Mr. John, however, overheard your unfinished sentence and inquired. Mr. John, I overheard something. You said you're not gonna. What? Jungkook looked at you and you nervously continued trying to cover up. Vine nervously smiling. I said I am. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna change anything in our room. Actually, yeah, Jungkook told me that if I want, I can renovate a room according to my comfort zone. But I said that I'm not gonna change anything. I know it must be perfect. Mr. and Mrs. John smiled, seemingly pleased with your answer. Meanwhile, Jungkook was doing his best to control his laughter. Mrs. John smiled. Jungkook, your wife is so nice, right? But Wine seriously, if you want any changes in your room or in this house, you can do that freely. Now it's your house. You forced another smile, still feeling uneasy about the situation. Mr. John, yeah, honey, let's leave the newlywed couple alone. I am also tired now. Let's go and take some rest. Mrs. John nodded and left for her room. Jungkook couldn't help but smile as he watched the interactions. Vine frustrated. Yeah, why are you smiling now? Jungkook, why can't I smile? You sighed in exasperation. Vine, whatever. Where is my room? Jungkook playfully raised an eyebrow. Jungkook, your or our? You replied, your frustration evident. Vine, frustrated. Yeah, don't get so carried away with your feelings. I'm just agreeing to share the room because of your parents. Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook, alright, let's go to our room. Vine firmly. Yeah, stop it now. With emotions swelling inside both of you, you headed towards your shared room, beginning this new chapter of your lives together. As you both entered the bedroom, Jungkook casually began to change his clothes. However, you immediately protested. Vine. Wait, what are you doing? Jungkook furrowed his eyebrows, puzzled. Jungkook. Yeah, what happened now? I'm just changing. You sighed in exasperation. Vine. Yeah, I know, but go and use the washroom. Jungkook raised an eyebrow, clearly amused by your reaction. Jungkook. Why are you getting so shy all of a sudden, huh? You rolled your eyes. Vine. Oh please, go and change in the washroom. Jungkook playfully teased. Jungkook. Why should I? I am comfortable here. You frowned, feeling a bit flustered. Why? Yeah, but I am not. Jungkook smirked. Jungkook. Then you go to the washroom. I will change here. You glared at him. Wine. Yeah, what do you say, huh? Jungkook quickly gulped. Jungkook. What happened? You asserted yourself. Wine. Go and change inside the washroom. Jungkook tried to argue but eventually chuckled and gave in. Pecking your cheeks before heading in the washroom, you watched him, slightly shocked by his actions. Vine. Is he seriously a pervert or something? Idiot. Time skips after you both changed into comfortable clothes. You laid on the bed, bewildered by the circumstances when Jungkook joined you. Vine looking at him. Hey, what are you doing? Jungkook innocently asked. Jungkook. What? I want to sleep. What's the problem? You were taken aback. Vine. Yeah, what do you mean? We will share the same bed? Jungkook nodded cutely. Vine. No way. Go and sleep on the couch. Jungkook tried to reason with you. Jungkook. But why? You are my official wife, so we can share the bed. What's the problem? You were having none of it. Vine. But I don't want to share a bed with you. Jungkook grinned and crossed the bed. Jungkook. Then you go and sleep on the couch. I am here already. You shot him a glare. Vine. Yeah, you are so stubborn. How selfish are you? Heartless. You grabbed your pillow and moved to the couch, laying down. Jungkook watched you with some concern, regretting his teasing. Jungkook in his mind. She really slept on the couch? She is so stubborn. What should I do now? Her back will hurt if she sleeps there. Unable to bear it, he got up. Jungkook, yeah, you can sleep on the bed. You opened your eyes, surprised. Wine, huh? You said something? Jungkook sighed, slightly frustrated with himself. Jungkook, yes, I said you can sleep on the bed. You perked up immediately. Wine, really? You got off the couch, excited. Wine, but where will you sleep? Jungkook replied casually. Jungkook, I will sleep on the couch. You furrowed your eyebrows in confusion. Wine, but what happened now? Jungkook attempted to clarify. Jungkook, actually I always sleep on the couch. This bed was just for show. I prefer the couch. Don't think I am sleeping here for you. You nodded, beginning to understand. Wine, oh, but why did you tease me earlier, huh? Jungkook smiled warmly. Jungkook, I was just teasing you, sweetheart. You laid down on the bed when you smiled unknowingly. Wine in your mind. Yeah, why are you smiling, idiot? And so, you both settled to sleep. You woke up in the middle of the night and noticed that Jungkook didn't have a blanket. You got up quietly, took the blanket from the cupboard and covered him with it. Wine in her mind, smiling. He looks cute while sleeping. The next day, as the sun rays filtered through the window, Jungkook slowly opened his eyes, rubbing away the sleep. He noticed the blanket covering him and then glanced at Wine, who was still sound asleep. Jungkook in his mind. You are not as cold-hearted as you pretend to be, Miss Icy. He playfully called her Miss Icy because she behaved cold as ice. He smiled at her and stretched his back. It becomes clear that he had been lying about always sleeping on the couch to convince Wine. In reality, he didn't do so because it hurt his back. Jungkook in his mind. My back is really killing me. He started some stretching exercises. When Wine opened her eyes, she saw Jungkook in front of her performing stretches. He looked handsome in the morning light streaming through the window. Wine rubbing her eyes. Good morning, Mr. Workout. Jungkook looked at her and smiled. Jungkook. Good morning, Miss Icy. Did you sleep well? Wine while yawning. Yeah, very well. When she got up to go to the bathroom to take a bath, Jungkook playfully blocked her way. Wine. Hey, what are you doing? Let me go. Jungkook. Why? I need to take bath. I woke up first. Wine. Yeah, but you were doing stretches. Let me go. Jungkook. No, I need to go. I have to go to the office. Wine glared at him. Wine. I also have to go to the office. Jungkook. Really? Wine. Actually, Jungkook, I wanted to tell you something. Jungkook serious. What's that? Wine made him sit on the bed. He looked at her, concerned and serious. Wine. Listen, Jungkook, actually... Then Wine quickly rushed into the bathroom and locked the door. Jungkook was initially puzzled, but soon realized that it was a prank. Jungkook shouting, Wine, you... He sighed and smiled. Jungkook. This girl... When Wine came out after taking a bath with wet hairs, she noticed Jungkook looking at her. She turned on the hairdryer and began drying her hair, making it dance in the air. Wine noticed Jungkook's gaze and flashed a victorious smile. Wine, Mr. Cookieful, now you can take bath. Jungkook smiled and got up. Jungkook, no problem. Tomorrow I will bath first. Wine, yeah, we will see. When Jungkook was about to enter the bathroom, the hairdryer suddenly stopped working. Wine tried to restart it, but it remained inactive. Wine. Jungkook, look, it's not working. Jungkook looked at it and then at Wine. He took the hairdryer and tried to restart it. Jungkook in his mind. Seeing her beauty, my hairdryer also stopped working, just like my heart. He chuckled and Wine noticed his smile. Wine. Why are you smiling? Jungkook looked at her. Jungkook. I was just thinking, are you Namjoon's sister? Wine, furrowing her eyebrows. No. Why? Jungkook. Because he also breaks everything he touches. Jungkook giggled and you gave him an annoyed look. Wine. Very funny. Look at my face. I am laughing so hard. I am dying of laughter. Jungkook looked at her expressionless face. Jungkook, yeah, whatever. I guess it's not working. We will buy a new one. For now, just leave it. Vine couldn't resist another teasing remark. Vine, your things are just like you, Mr. Jungkook. Useless. Jungkook furrowed his brows. Jungkook, yeah, what did you say? Vine laughed mischievously. Vine, oh look, your ears are also useless. She giggled and prayerfully walked out of the room. Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook, I don't know from where she finds these many names. Mr. Jungkook, Mr. Workout, Mr. Cookie Fool. Then proceeded to enter the bathroom. Time skips to breakfast. Everyone gathered for breakfast and Mrs. John decided to strike up a conversation with Vine. Mrs. John, Vine, I forget to ask you, where do you work? Mr. John and Jungkook looked at Vine. Vine, I am the CEO of Kim Enterprise. I work in my family business. Mrs. John, oh, that's nice. Mr. John, yes, I already knew this. Mr. Kim is the chairman. Mrs. John looked at her husband with a curious expression. Mrs. John, but you didn't tell me. Mr. John, while eating, I thought it's not important. Jungkook interjected. Alright guys, I am leaving now. Mrs. John suggested. You can drop Vine off. Alright Vine? Vine sighed and reluctantly agreed. Alright. Jungkook smiled and went outside when Jungkook opened the car door for Vine. Vine, I will sit in the back seat. Jungkook was surprised. What? Why? I am not your driver. Vine teased. Mom said you would drop me, so for now you are my driver. Jungkook nodded. Husband and wife should sit beside each other. Vine continued to tease. Oh really? Jungkook nodded again. Vine teasing further. Alright, but I am not in the mood to sit in the front seat. Jungkook sighed, opened the back seat door and sat next to you. Vine smirked and said, if you are here, then who will drive the car? Jungkook smirked back. Jungkook calling out, Driver! The driver came and sat in the driver's seat. Vine gave Jungkook an annoyed look and he gave her a victorious smile. Jungkook, let's go. They dropped Vine off at Kim Enterprise. Jungkook smirking. Yeah, call me and I will pick you up. Vine gave him an annoyed look and walked into the building. Jungkook chuckled and went on his way to the office. As usual, the day passed and in the evening, Jungkook picked up Vine from her office and then headed to home. Time skips to dinner. Mr. John had some news to share with the family during dinner. Mr. John, guys, my mom is coming tomorrow and you know she is quite strict, so please be careful. Everyone at the table looked concerned. Mrs. John, seriously? Mr. John nodded. Mrs. John, yeah, she is so strict. She will say, don't sit like this, don't eat like this, don't speak like this, wake up at 5 am, sleep at 8 pm and so on. Jungkook couldn't help but chuckled. Jungkook, yeah mom, it's okay, she is my grandmother. It might be good for us to be a little more disciplined. Mrs. John, you know your grandmother Jungkook, she is really annoying. Vine, be careful. Vine looked at Mrs. John, unsure of what to expect. Mr. John tried to reassure Vine. She is not that strict, don't worry too much. Mrs. John, she is quite old-fashioned with traditional thoughts and views. She don't like girls who have jobs. Vine exchanged a glance with Jungkook and he raised an eyebrow. Jungkook, yeah, that's right. But what can we do, Mom? What if she protests against Vine's job? Mrs. John insisted. No problem. It's good to be disciplined, Jungkook. Right? Jungkook managed a strained smile. Jungkook, yeah, but... Mr. John interjected. We will see how it goes tomorrow. For now, let's get some rest. Everyone at the table nodded in agreement and Vine and Jungkook headed to their room. As you settled, you couldn't resist asking about Jungkook's strict grandmother. Vine, really? Your grandma is that strict? Jungkook nodded with a playful smirk, testing her reaction. Jungkook teasing. Are you scared? Vine, scared? Me? No way. Jungkook chuckled and decided to lay down on the couch. Vine, are you going to sleep? Jungkook, yeah, we have to wake up early. You acknowledged with a simple and bid him good night. Jungkook smiling. Good night. As Jungkook drifted off to sleep, you continued to work on your laptop, engrossed in your upcoming meeting preparations. Hours passed by and Jungkook, who woke up in the middle of the night, was concerned to find you still working. Jungkook concerned. Wine, you are still awake? Wine, committed to her task, replied calmly. Wine, yeah, I will sleep afterwards. I have some more work to complete. Jungkook sighed and laid back down, unable to help but think about your dedication. Jungkook in his mind. She is really hardworking. Nice, but she should get some proper sleep. What if grandmom says something unpleasant to her? I won't be able to bear it. But how can I stand up to grandmom? I hope everything will be fine. With these thoughts, he drifted back to sleep, worried about the impending visit. The next morning, Jungkook's alarm rang at 5 a.m. He was surprised to find you still working diligently on your laptop. Jungkook rubbing his eyes. Why? You haven't slept? You focused on your work, answered without looking up. Why? No. Jungkook, aren't you feeling sleepy? Why? No. Despite your determination, you couldn't hide a yawn. Jungkook sighed, realizing you needed rest, and decided to head to the gym. Jungkook, I am going to the gym. Wine was surprised by his early morning routine. Wine, really? It's so early. Jungkook, smirking at her reaction, teased playfully. Jungkook, yeah, grandma could arrive at any time. Wine, alright. Time skips after Jungkook returned from gym. You couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. You were relieved to have finished your work, but also felt the pressure of Jungkook's grandmother's impending visit. Wine, finally, my work is over. Now I should take a bath before his grandma arrives. Just as you said this, Jungkook entered the room and you hurriedly dashed into the bathroom. Jungkook couldn't help but chuckle at your determination and the humorous timing of your actions. Jungkook, yeah, she really remembered yesterday's my words. He chuckled when you shouted from inside the bathroom. Wine, yo, you can never win from me. As you both freshened up and descended the stairs, they were greeted by the presence of Jungkook's grandmother. Jungkook eagerly took the lead, holding your hand as he walked towards his grandmother, giving her a warm hug. Jungkook, yeah, I missed you, grandma. He beamed and his grandmother affectionately caressed his hair. Grandmother, I missed you too, my son. Jungkook pouted playfully. Jungkook, why didn't you come to my wedding? Grandmom, I am sorry, my son. I wasn't well, but I am here now. You observed their heartfelt reunion, but couldn't help but notice the change in Mrs. Jeon's attire. She was typically known for wearing shorts and skirts, but today she was in jeans with a long top. Grandmom, let me meet my granddaughter-in-law. Jungkook gestured towards you. You took a step in her direction and bowed respectfully to greet her. Grandmom, while looking at you over. Grandmom, you are beautiful. You responded with a polite smile, but Grandmom's continued scrutiny made you feel a bit uncomfortable. Jungkook noticed his grandmother's intense observation and decided to ask. Jungkook, Grandma, is something wrong? Why are you staring at Wine? Grandmom maintained a serious tone and asked you directly. Grandmom, are you going somewhere, Wine? You looked at Jungkook and then at his parents. Jungkook, yes, she is coming with me to my office. Grandmom furrowed her eyebrows, not quite convinced by his plan. Grandmom with a strict and serious tone. Why? What will she do there? Mr. Jeon stepped in to provide an explanation. Mr. Jeon, she wasn't feeling well, so Jungkook offered to take her to the doctor. Jungkook looked at his father, relieved that he was covering for your presence in the office. Grandmom, what's wrong with her? This time, both Mr. Jeon and Jungkook answered in unison. Jungkook, Mr. Jeon, fever. Cold. You and Mrs. Jeon exchanged glances, slightly bewildered by the conflicting responses. Grandmom, huh? Decide once. Does she have a fever or a cold? Mrs. Jeon, She has both. Grandmom sighed, feeling somewhat bewildered. Grandmom, all right, I know a homemade soup remedy that I will make for you. You will be fine. Don't trouble your husband. You looked at her and then at Jungkook, who was standing by your side. He immediately defended your choice. Jungkook, why should she bother me? She is my wife, so if she needs anything, it's my responsibility. Grandmom. Jungkook, I know you are worried for your wife, but trust your grandmom. I will make soup for her and she will be perfectly fine. Jungkook's frustration started to show. Jungkook frustrated. Grandma, why are you not understanding? Grandmom, don't argue, Jungkook. Go have your breakfast and head to the office. Jungkook looked at you, a hint of disappointment in his eyes. Grandmom, Wine, serve your husband's food. Everybody listened to her, including Mr. and Mrs. John. Mrs. John, Mom, there are house workers here. They will serve food to everyone. Grandmom, it's a wife's duty to serve her husband food. You are both immature and foolish. What will you teach your daughter-in-law? No worries. I am here to teach you everything. Mrs. John muttered under her breath. Mrs. John, old-fashioned and narrow-minded thinking. You served Jungkook his breakfast silently, feeling the weight of the situation. Once breakfast was over, Jungkook and Mr. John prepared to leave for the office. Jungkook turned to you and whispered in your ear. Jungkook, I'm sorry, Vine. Give me some time. I will figure something out. Stay active on your phone and I will message you. You gazed at him, unable to find the right words. Jungkook, okay? You nodded in agreement. Jungkook and Mr. John left for the office while you remained at the house, bracing yourself for what the day had in store. As you were about to head to your room, you couldn't help but overhear Grandmom instruction. Mrs. John, Grandmom, go and make soup for Wine. Mrs. John, sounding a bit uncertain, questioned her mother-in-law. Mrs. John, me? But Mom, I don't know how to. Grandmom, in her typical firm manner, reassured her. Grandmom, I will guide you. You should know how to make soup. If someone falls ill and I am not here, what will you do? Mrs. John considered an alternative solution. Mrs. John, we could go to the doctor. Grandmom, yeah, shut your mouth and go inside the kitchen. I will guide you. You couldn't help but think that Mrs. John was rather frustrated and you couldn't fathom the grandmom was so strict. Vine in her mind, yeah, mom is really frustrated. Why is grandmom so strict? I don't know what to do. I have an important meeting today. It's vital for me to attend it. At that moment, you received a message from Jungkook. Jungkook text, Vine, listen, come near the window. Vine in her mind, the window? You obeyed and approached the window to find Jungkook waiting outside. Vine in her mind, what is he doing there? Jungkook texted, Vine, come down. I have arranged a ladder for you. Vine, is he out of his mind? I will break my neck if I go down from here. Jungkook called you. Jungkook, Vine, come down quickly. Vine, are you crazy, Jungkook? I can't. Jungkook, Vine, trust me, come down. Vine worriedly but also cutely. I will die, Jungkook. Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook, I won't let you die, Vine. Trust me. Taking a deep breath, you decided to descend the ladder. But on the third rung, from the bottom, you slipped. Jungkook was quick to react and caught you. It felt like a scene from a romantic movie. You were in his arms and your faces were mere inches apart. Vine startled. Oh no! Jungkook gently placed on the ground and looked at you with concern. Jungkook, what happened? Vine, I left my laptop in my room. Jungkook looked at you in disbelief and ran a hand through his hair. Jungkook, yeah, really? Now what? Vine innocently, we have to get it. Jungkook, Alright, go then. Wine. Me? Why? I mean, please, Jungle Book, can you go? Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook, why? If you go and by chance fall, I will catch you. But if I fall, you won't be able to catch me. Wine looked at him and nodded. Wine, yeah, but no problem. I know you won't fall. Jungkook sighed and went back to your room. He retried your laptop, but at the last rung of the ladder, he too slipped and fell on you. You attempted to catch him, but you both tumbled to the ground, ending up in a position that felt straight out of a classic movie. The ladder wobbled precariously, sending them tumbling to the ground, with a Jungkook landing gently on top of the wine. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, faces were just inches apart. A surprising connection emerged. Jungkook's concern for Wine grew as he cradled her, while her heart raced from his proximity. It was an unexpected moment of intimacy that left them both with a fluttering feeling in their hearts. Then you came into reality and pushed him backwards, and he also stood up from you and provided you his hand to stand. Wine, oh no, are you fine? Jungkook, yeah, I'm totally fine. But you quickly rushed to your laptop, which was lying down on the ground, and picked it up and started checking it. That is it fine? Then Jungkook looked at you in disbelief with weird expressions because you were worrying about laptop, but he thought that you asked him that is he fine. Jungkook cleared his throat. Jungkook, hurry up, let's go. You gave him a glare. Wine, can't you come down properly? What if my laptop got broken or something? You are really careless, idiot. By saying this, you went towards car, while Jungkook was just standing there looking at you in disbelief. Jungkook talking to himself. She is really heartless. What if I get injured? But no, she is just worried about that so-called laptop. He sighed in frustration and sat in the car. Time skips at evening when you called your sister Luna because she didn't contacted you after she ran from the wedding, because you were calling her continuously but she was not picking the call. You were worried for her, but then you got a message from Jungkook that he is there to pick you up from the office, so you went to him. You both were in the car when you spoke. Wine, what will you tell at home? Jungkook, about your escape? I will say that your signs were needed for some documents, that's why I picked you up from home. Wine, will it work? Jungkook, hope so. The drive was silent when you both reached home. Grandmom came towards your direction. Grandmom, where were you, Wine? Jungkook, actually she was with me. I took her with me as I needed her signs on some documents. Grandmom, oh, alright. But you should have informed us once. Jungkook, I was in hurry, that's why. She nodded. When you were about to go to your room, but she spoke. Grandmom, Wine, your mom is in the kitchen. Go and take the soup from her. You will be fine. Wine, I am fine now, Grandmom. Thank you. When Mrs. John came outside, she was looking really exhausted. Jungkook concerned. Mom, why are you looking so tired? Mrs. John tired. I was cooking whole day. Jungkook, but where are the chefs? Grandmom, why you people need chefs? Jungkook, food made by mother or wife is better and healthy. They make food with so much love. Jungkook forced a strained smile. Wine in her mind. Oh my goodness. Grandmom is really too much. I am feeling bad for mom. Grandmom, today you all eat, and from tomorrow Wine will also cook food her. You and Jungkook looked shocked at each other. Jungkook, oh my sweet grandma, why are you doing this? See, mom is so tired. What if she gets sick? Let the chefs handle the kitchen. Grandmom, Jungkook, you are a kid. You seriously don't know anything. Don't worry. You just do your office work, and at home, Wine and your mother will handle. Let's do dinner now. When you got a text from an unknown number, text, save your sister, she is in danger. You saw the text and you got so worried. Upon seeing the text, you were filled with worry, your mind racing with the thoughts and concerns. Jungkook, wine, let's have dinner. You couldn't bring yourself to respond. Lost in your own thoughts, the weight of message hung heavy in your mind. Grandmom, ever observant, noticed your lack of response and called out to you. Grandmom, Wine, come and have dinner. You looked at her and struggled to find words. Wine, I don't have appetite. With that, you turned away and retreated to your room, leaving your family puzzled and concerned about your well-being. After grandmother left to her room after having dinner, Mrs. John, already fatigued from a long day of housework, expressed her frustration to Mr. John, feeling overwhelmed by the expectations placed upon her. Mrs. John, honey, your mom is really doing too much. See my condition. I have been working tirelessly all day. Mr. John acknowledged her exhaustion and assured her he would try to talk to his mom, but also acknowledged that changing her ways was a difficult task. Mrs. John, when will she leave? Mr. John, I don't know. Mrs. John, I am afraid Vine is also intimidated by her. She's just been married and your mom is already saying she will have to start working at home tomorrow. Why? We have house workers and chef, but she still wants us to do the work. How will Vine focus on her office work? She will get sick. Hearing this, Jungkook, who had been listening in on their conversation, stood up and quietly left the room. This thought consumed by concerns for you and the mounting pressure for his grandmother's expectations. When Jungkook went to the room, he saw you were standing in the balcony, all silent. He was concerned and confused when he decided to start a chat. Jungkook, Vine, today I am thinking to sleep on the bed. You didn't respond. Jungkook loudly, Can I sleep, Miss Icy? When you looked at him, Vine frustrated, Do whatever you want. Jungkook was confused and concerned about your nature when he went to the washroom to change into some comfortable clothes. But when he came outside, he saw you sleeping on the couch. He was now more shocked and concerned. Jungkook in mind, what happened to her? Should I woke her up? No. She must be tired. She didn't slept yesterday. But her back will pain. Should I pick her up and put her on the bed? No. She will shout at me. He sighed and decided not to wake you up. He laid on the bed, still thinking about you and concerned. Jungkook thinking, Is she really upset about what grandma said? Or is there something else? Jungkook, but today this bed is feeling so comfortable. Yeah, I missed you so much, my bed. People who sleep on the bed are so lucky, he said and chuckled at his own thoughts. Jungkook, how will I find out what's wrong with her? Or maybe she is just tired. By thinking all this, he slept. He woke up in the middle of the night when he saw you. Your blanket was falling on the floor and you were sleeping without it. So he quickly got off the bed and bent down to your level and picked up the blanket and wrapped up in it. Jungkook looking closely and thinking, Why are you affecting me, Miss Icy? I don't know what is happening to me. You annoy me sometimes, you tease me, but I don't know. Still I am getting attracted to you. My feelings for you are growing every day and I will wait for you, for the day when you will also have feelings for me, when you will also realize your love for me, and then I will propose you officially. He smiled and pecked your cheeks. Jungkook in his mind, What happened to you, Vine? You are upset today, right? But what is the reason behind that? I like that annoying and savage Vine who always tease me. Your silent behavior is killing me. I really hope that you trust me and tell me everything. You can share anything with me without any hesitation. He looked at you and kissed your hair and stood up and went towards the bed. When you opened your eyes slowly as you got awake when he puts blanket on you. Vine in mind. He is not bad, but why that idiot kissed me? But I felt something different. I mean, it was a strange feeling, a feeling I never felt before. Why my heart always starts beating fast whenever he comes close to me? Why is he affecting me? Am I in love with him? No, 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 Vine. Come to your senses. How can this be possible? It's just been around 2 to 3 days. And how can someone fall in love so quickly? And love is just waste of time. And I don't like to waste my time. People get hurt whenever they love. So I don't want to take any risk. Vine, dear, sleep. And tomorrow find Unni. I have to find her. I don't know what is going on. I have to go in the depth of the situation. By thinking all this, you both slept. Next morning, when he woke up, he heard a door knock. He looked at the time and it was 7 o'clock. He noticed that you were still sleeping soundly. He quickly woke up and opened the door. When he saw Grandmom, Jungkook yawning. Grandma, what happened? Grandma entered inside the room and saw you sleeping on the couch. Grandmom, is she still sleeping? Jungkook, yes, actually. Grandmom, and why is she sleeping on the couch? She looked at him and Jungkook was silent as he was finding an excuse. Grandmom, wait, do you sleep separately? When you heard some noise, so you slowly opened your eyes while rubbing them. Jungkook, oh no, Grandma, what are you saying? I love my Vine so much and we sleep on the same bed. It's just she was not feeling well yesterday and her back was paining so she slept on the couch. Grandmom, really? Jungkook showed his big bunny eyes and nodded. Jungkook, yes, I don't lie. You woke up and stood up. Grandmom, Vine, why are you late? You looked at her and then at clock. Grandmom, how can you be so careless? Vine, don't be like your mother-in-law. You should wake up at 5 a.m. sharp. Don't get so lazy. You have to cook food for your family. You have to do so much work. How will you do so if you will not wake up early? You were just looking at her silently. Somewhere in your mind you were stressed and worried about your sister. Jungkook was feeling bad for you. Jungkook, Grandma, you don't know her. She wake up so early. It's today when she got little bit late. Because she was not well yesterday, that's why. Grandmom, whatever Jungkook, it's her responsibility to wake up early and make breakfast for her husband and family. Vine, come down fast. By saying this, she left. Jungkook looked at you concerned when you silently went to washroom to take bath. When you came outside, Jungkook went towards you and made you sit on the bed. Jungkook, I'm sorry, Vine. I know you are upset, but Grandmom is just like this. Just ignore her words. She is not bad, but strict. So don't get worried or stressed. You looked at him. Vine, I'm not upset. Jungkook, really? But you behaved different yesterday. Vine, huh? Me? No. I was just tired. By saying this, you left downstairs. You texted that unknown number. You text, who are you? How do you know me and my sister? By texting this, you went towards Grandmom. Grandmom, Vine, go and cook breakfast. Vine, but I don't know how to cook. Grandmom, what? You are a girl. You don't know how to cook? Mrs. John came. Mrs. John, what happened, Mom? I will cook, no problem. When Jungkook and Mr. John came downstairs, Grandmom, But she is a girl and every girl should know how to cook. Jungkook, it's not important, grandma. Everybody looked at him. Jungkook, it's not only girls' duty to cook. Boys can also cook and don't force her to cook. Grandmom, Jungkook, why are you saying what if both have to live separate? Then how will you survive? Who will cook? Jungkook, I will cook. I know cooking. I will cook for me and my wife. Grandmom, why? Why will you cook? Jungkook, Grandmom, please. I don't know what your thoughts and mentality is, but for me, it's not important who cooks food or who goes to office. I like girls who are independent and work. And yes, Wine is a businesswoman. She do work in office and yesterday we lied to you about her health as she have to go to office for some important meeting. I will support my wife whenever she will need me. Everybody looked at Jungkook. Mr. and Mrs. John were so shocked while Grandmom was looking at him in disbelief. Grandmom, Jungkook, shut up! You were not like this. You never disagreed with me. But now you are married and you have changed. Jungkook, but Grandmom, get lost, Jungkook. Don't show me your face. You have really changed. You disrespected me today. Jungkook sighed and left the house and went to office. Everybody looked at him worried. Grandmom went to her room. Mrs. John, he is frustrated and I am worried now. Where will he go? Mr. John, he is not a kid, honey. And today, I don't know why I am really impressed by my son. He have the guts to say the truth. Mrs. John, yeah, that's true. He is not like you. He can support his wife. Mr. John looked with the corner of his eyes at Mrs. John. You were confused that why he took stand for you, Wine, in mind. He loved his grandmom so much, but today he fought with her for me. Why? When you got a message from the unknown number, text, I am helping you, telling you the truth that your sister is in danger. Find her as soon as possible. Otherwise, you got worried by seeing this. Wine text. If you know where she is, then why don't you tell me? Unknown text. I know she is in danger, but when I will find out, I will tell you where she is. But she is in trouble. You started panicking and went inside your room and locked it. You quickly called your detective to find out about the unknown number, but then you got a call from your mother, Mrs. Kim. Wine, how are you? Wine, I am fine, Mom. How are you? Mrs. Kim, I am also fine. I just called you because I was calling Luna, but she is not picking my call. Can you please call her? I think she is upset from us. Tell her to call me. Your hands were shaking and you were somehow controlling your tears and cut the call. But then you got a message from Luna. Luna, hello Winnie, how are you? You looked at the message and was little surprised and confused. You quickly called her. Wine on call. Unni? Luna, yes fine, hello, how are you? Wine, I'm fine, but how are you? I mean, where are you now? Why were you not picking my calls? Luna, Wine, calm down. What happened? I'm totally fine. Actually, I'm in New York now. Me and Michael are in New York and we both got married. I'm so happy and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. And maybe I didn't pick your calls because I was in flight to New York and that's why my phone was not reachable. You were now relieved that your sister is safe. Wine, wow, that's nice. Congratulations, Unni. But why are you in New York? Luna, actually, I was having a photo shoot in New York and we both have to go there. So we decided not to delay our wedding and get married there. And Wine, I will share my wedding pics with you also. Wine relieved and smiled. That's nice. When will you come back? Luna, most probably after 1 week. Vine. Ah, alright, nice. And yeah, call to mom also. She was worried about you. Luna. Alright. But I'm really upset from them. But it's okay, I will contact them. Vine. Yeah, and please stay in contact with me. And don't off your phone. And meet me when you will come back. Luna. Okay, okay, fine, my little sister. Any other orders? Vine. No, it's enough. When you both chuckled and cut the call. You finally took a relieved breath and was now happy that your sister is happy and safe. But this happiness was not for a longer period. Then you got a message from an unknown number. When you opened your phone and saw that unknown contact who was texting you, Vine talking to herself. Who is this? Why is he texting me like this? And he is fake, of course. He is just trying to fool me. Unknown number. There is a news for you, baby girl. You texted. Shut your dirty mouth. I know you're fooling me about my sister. I know the truth, so don't you dare to text me. Unknown number. Yeah, you are smart. Yes, I was fooling you. But this time, I'm serious. Your husband is in danger. Vine text. Get lost, you nonsense. Don't you dare to fool me again. Unknown number. Alright then. My job was to warn you once, but others is your choice. Vine talking to herself. Yeah, I know he's lying. You were silent for a while when Jungkook's smiling face and his last night peck on your cheeks, and today when he fought for you, everything flashed into your mind and your heart starting beating so fast and you were worrying so much. You hurriedly went downstairs and went towards your car. Mrs. John. Vine, where are you going? But you went outside and didn't heard her. While driving, you were calling Jungkook and he was not picking. But after so many calls, he picked your call. Jungkook on call. Hello? Vine worrying and panicking. Jungkook, where are you? Jungkook concerned. Vine, I am on my way to office, but what happened? Why are you worried? Vine. Jungkook. Suddenly you heard a bang. It was a voice, some kind of accident or car crash. Your heart skipped a beat. Vine. Jungkook, hello? But there was no reply from the other end. You were panicking so much when you quickly raced your car, and after a while you reached at the place where you saw his car. It was badly crashed. Your heart skipped a beat. Your legs were trembling. You went outside the car and went towards it, which was surrounded by people. All the people were just standing there and looking at the car, but nobody was helping. Your legs were feeling lifeless and you were having difficulty in moving. But somehow you reached near the driver's seat and saw him injured. Your heart skipped a beat. You were crying and sobbing so badly. Jungkook was in critical condition. His car had been severely damaged in the accident and he was trapped inside. He had sustained multiple injuries, including cuts, bruises, and possibly more severe injuries, and he was unconscious. His life hung in the balance, and the paramedics were desperately working to stabilize him and get him out of the wrecked vehicle. You were filled with fear and despair when ambulance arrived and took him to the hospital. You could see the paramedics doing their best to save him, but Jungkook's condition was grave. His life was at risk, and your heart ached as you stood by, helpless and praying for him to pull through. You could only hope that the medical team could work their magic and save your Jungkook. In the sterile cold hospital room, you sat huddled in a corner, your heart heavy with worry and your eyes swollen from crying. You clutched your trembling hands together in a desperate prayer, your words whispered with fervor as you begged for Jungkook's recovery. Your tears fell like raindrops, each one carrying a piece of your heartache. Jungkook lay on the hospital bed, hooked up to various machines, his face pale and battered. Tubes and wires connected him to life-saving equipment, a stark reminder of the fragile thread that held him between life and death. The room echoed with the steady beeping of the heart monitor and constant reminder of the precarious nature of his condition. Your heart ached as you gazed at Jungkook, your soul entangled with his. You longed for him to wake up, for the warmth of his hand, for the reassuring sound of his voice. The fear that he might never open his eyes again was unbearable, and you felt utterly helpless. In your quiet corner, you continued to pray, promising anything and everything if only Jungkook could be spared. Your love for him poured out through your silent prayers, each word etched with the deepest emotion. You couldn't lose him. Mrs. John called you. Mrs. John on call. Wine? What happened, dear? You went from home so hurriedly. Is everything fine? Wine on call, crying and sobbing. Mom, actually, Mrs. John worried. Wine? Daughter, what happened? Why are you crying? Wine. Mom, Jungkook got into accident. Mrs. John's heart skipped a beat. Mrs. John panicked. Jungkook? What? Wine? Where are you? When the call cut. When Mr. and Mrs. John rushed to the hospital, they saw your condition. You were all red after crying and sobbing. Mrs. John started crying and came towards you. Mrs. John. Wine? Dear, stop crying. He is fine, I know. Don't take stress, please. You nodded, but you and Mrs. John were still crying and panicking. Mr. John worried. Yeah, please, why are you crying? He is fine and he is a very strong man, just like me. So he will be fine, I know. When doctor came outside the operation theatre, you all rushed towards him. Wine. Doctor, how is he? When doctor came outside the operation theatre, you all rushed towards him. Wine. Doctor, how is he? Doctor. He is very injured, but he is fine and safe. You took a deep breath and got little relieved. Mrs. John. Can we meet him? Is he awake? Doctor. Wait for some time and afterwards you can meet him. As the day turned to evening, you sat outside the hospital room anxiously waiting for him to wake up. The weight of uncertainty pressed upon you and the minutes felt like hours. The beeping of the machines echoed in the room, a constant reminder of fragile of life. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the doctor gave you permission to enter in his room. Your heart pounded in your chest as you stepped inside. The sight that greeted you sent a torrent of emotion surging through you. There lay Jungkook, his body covered in bandages, a testimony to the severity of the accident. He appeared vulnerable, far from the strong and confident man you were used to seeing. Tears welled up in your eyes as your emotions overflowed. Your voice choked with emotions and a single tear escaped from your eyes and slid down your cheeks. Jungkook, despite his injuries, managed to muster a warm smile as he looked at you. His innocence and the strength he showed in that moment melted your heart, and you quickly wiped away your tear, not wanting to burden him further. You went towards him silently. Your both eyes looked into his. You both were silent for a while. You were struggling to utter any word when Mrs. John and Mr. John also entered. They both looked at Jungkook when Mrs. John started crying. Mrs. John. Jungkook, my son. She came near him and started crying when Jungkook slowly wiped her tears. Jungkook weakly. Yeah, Mom, why are you crying? I am perfectly fine. You should be happy. Mrs. John nodded. Mr. John, I told her that you are strong and you will be fine. But you know your mom. She don't listen to me. Jungkook smiled. Mrs. John, how are you? How this accident happened? Jungkook, I am fine, Mom. Actually, I don't know how it happened. I was driving when suddenly a truck came and clashed my car. Why I'm thinking, truck? I'm sure that it is an attempt to murder. It is that unknown person, no doubt. Mr. John. Oh, Mrs. John. Oh, my son got so injured. Mr. John. Jungkook, I talked to doctor and he said that tomorrow you will get discharged. But you have to take proper rest, so for some days you will not go to office. Jungkook nodded. Mr. John, Wine, will you stay here? I mean, your mom didn't eat anything and she didn't eat her medicine of blood pressure, so I thought that me and your mom should go home and Wine. Yeah, no problem. I am here. You guys go. Mrs. John, we will come at night. Wine. No problem, mom. I am here. I will stay here. You go and take rest. They nodded and left the hospital when Jungkook smirked at you. Jungkook. You cried, Miss Icy? You looked at him. Wine. Me? Why? Why should I cry? Jungkook smirking. Don't lie, sweetheart. I know you must be worried for me. And when you entered in the room, your face was all red like you cried so much. Wine. Why should I cry for you, Mr. Jungle Book? You are not so special for me that I will cry for you. Jungkook serious. Seriously? I'm not special? Wine. No, you are not. Now just shut your mouth and take rest. Jungkook. I am resting already. Wine. Then give your tongue some rest. He chuckled. When he closed his eyes and pretended to sleep, Jungkook in his mind. Am I really not special for her? But she was worried for me. I noticed that she got emotional when she saw me in this condition. He sighed. Jungkook thinking, sometimes I feel that she loves me. Sometimes I feel that she don't. What a complex mystery. When you got a call from your detective and you quickly picked it up and went outside the room. Wine on call. Hello, detective. Hello, ma'am. I got to know that who is that unknown person. Wine. Yeah, really? Tell me who is that. Detective. I have sent you his details and his name is Mark. You were shocked and little confused. Wine. Okay. You cut the call and checked the phone and confirmed that is he the same Mark? You were little shocked. Wine in mind. How can he do that? But he can do anything. He dared to kill Jungkook and interfere in my life? Mark, you have to regret for your mistake. When inside, Jungkook was thinking, Jungkook, why she went outside to pick the call? She can talk here. But maybe she thought that I will get disturbed. When you entered inside, Jungkook was laying on the bed and you laid on the couch and quickly slept as you were so tired. Your phone was placed near Jungkook's bed when a message popped on your phone screen, but you were sleeping so you didn't notice. When again the notification sounds were beeping. When Jungkook took the phone and was about to give you when he noticed the text message from that unknown number. Unknown number's text. Hello, baby girl. Why are you ignoring my text, sweetheart? When Jungkook saw the text notifications on the screen, he got shocked, confused, and little triggered and hurt. Jungkook in mind. Who is this? Why is he texting Wine? And why is he saying her baby girl and sweetheart? What is all this? He was looking at the phone and then at you, who was peacefully sleeping. Jungkook in mind. What is all this? Is she in relationship with someone? Or she loved that person but she forcefully married me? Maybe that's why she said that I am not special to her. No, Jungkook. It can't be possible. She can never betray me. What is happening? I don't know. What should I do? Am I the one who came in between them? He was thinking all this and slept. Next day, they took discharge and went back home. And when you both entered inside, Grandmom came towards Jungkook and got emotional by seeing his condition. She cupped his face gently. Grandmom, Jungkook, how are you? I am sorry. I am really sorry. She started crying while cupping his face when Jungkook quickly cupped her face and wiped her tears. Jungkook, Grandma, why are you crying? And please don't say sorry to me. Don't cry. Please. Otherwise I will also start crying. Grandmom, why? Why will you cry, huh? I am really bad. I shouted on my little Jungkook and told you not to show me your face. That's why maybe this happened. Jungkook, why are you thinking all this? See, I am fine now. And yeah, I am not a little kid anymore. Why you always call me little Jungkook? See my height, I am bigger than you in it. Grandmom chuckled and Jungkook also smiled. Grandmom, yeah, my grandson had grown up now and he is married. She smiled when Jungkook looked at you. Mrs. John, Wine, take him to your room. Now he should take rest. You nodded. Mr. John, and Jungkook, your food will be sent in your room, so you just take rest. Jungkook, but I am not hungry. I will eat afterwards. You both went inside the room. You helped him to lay on the bed. Jungkook, why you laid me here? I mean, I sleep on the couch, right? Wine, yeah, actually, I decided that you can sleep here and I will sleep on the couch. Jungkook confused. Why? Wine, because you are injured, so bed would be more comfortable for you. Jungkook, then you will not sleep here? Wine, no, I mean I will sleep on the bed when you will get properly well. Jungkook teasing, no, but I am going to sleep here always. Wine, why? I will sleep here and that is my commitment. Wine loudly. Me, Kim Wine decides to sleep on the bed after he gets well. Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook, John Wine. You looked at him. Wine, yeah, whatever. Jungkook, alright then. Me, John Jungkook announced that I will always sleep on the bed. You both looked at each other teasingly competently. Wine, alright. Let's see who will fulfill the commitment. Jungkook, yeah, it's obviously me. But no problem, we will see. Wine, yeah, whatever. When your phone rang and you quickly picked it up. Wine on call. Yeah, why were you not picking my calls? Secretary, I'm sorry ma'am, I left my phone in my room. Wine, alright, now check the messages I have sent you. I have sent all the informations about person and I texted you everything, so find out everything, whatever I have asked. Secretary, okay ma'am, I will see and send you all the details. You cut the call and looked at Jungkook who was looking at you with serious expressions. Wine, who died? Jungkook confused. Huh? Wine, why are you looking like this at me with grave expressions? Jungkook, nothing. Who was on the call? Wine, why should I tell you? Jungkook, because I am your husband. Wine teasing. So Mr. Husband, don't interfere in my life. It's none of your business. When you went downstairs, Jungkook in mind. Who was on the call? Why am I thinking all this? Wine, do you seriously love someone else? If yes, then please tell me. But I don't know why my heart is not ready to accept that. Yeah, why is this happening? I guess she is not telling me because she thinks that I will get hurt. He sighed. Jungkook thinking. Wine, if you're not happy with me, then you can leave. I mean, I will be happy to see you happy with, even if you are happy with someone else, I will be fine. He went silent for a while. Jungkook in mind. Seriously? Will I be fine? Can I let her go with some other man? Do I have guts to do so? He frustratedly pulled his hairs. Jungkook. Yeah, I don't know. I am now feeling suffocated and frustrated. Alright, I will behave cold towards her so that she can hate me and leave me and live happily with her lover. At least I can try. But why this plan feels so childish? When you entered in the room with a plate of food. Wine. Eat it, Mr. Husband. Jungkook coldly. I am not hungry. Wine. I didn't ask you that are you hungry or not. I said eat it. You have to take medicine, so please. Jungkook loudly. I said nah, I'm not hungry. Why are you forcing me, huh? Vine confused. Yeah, what happened? Did you eat any wrong medicine? Jungkook sighed. Jungkook. Vine, what are you doing? I'm not hungry, and why are you being so caring towards me, huh? Vine. His head really got injured. Coconut head. Jungkook. What are you saying? I asked you something. Vine. Are you mad? You are injured, and if I am telling you to take medicine, then you are behaving rude. What happened to you? Jungkook. Vine, leave me alone. Vine in disbelief. Jungkook? Jungkook. Please leave Vine. Vine. But at least eat food and have medicine, then I will leave. Jungkook shouted. I said leave. You flinched when the food plate slipped from your hand and fell down. You looked at him in disbelief and silently left the room. Mrs. and Mr. John heard Jungkook shout. Mr. John. Why is he shouting? Mrs. John. At whom is he shouting? When they saw you coming downstairs with disappointing face and you went to office. Mrs. John. Did they fight? Mr. John. How can this be possible? I mean, Jungkook never shout like this. Mrs. John. Something is wrong. He can't shout at Vine like this. Let me see. In your room. Jungkook thinking. I think I shouted a lot. She was taking care of me and see what I did. I should not be like this much angry on her. Yeah, I'm not feeling good. My acting really got worse. I really overreacted and did overacting. Yeah, Jungkook, why you do such things for which you have to regret later? Mrs. John went inside his room and got shocked by seeing the food plate falling on the ground. Mrs. John. Jungkook, what is all this? Jungkook looked at her. Jungkook. Mom? She came towards him and sat down near him on the bed. Mrs. John. What happened? Jungkook. Nothing, Mom. Mrs. John. Jungkook, you can share with me. I will help you. Jungkook. Mom, seriously, nothing happened. It just plate slipped from her hand. Mrs. John. Jungkook, I am your mom. I can understand that when are you saying the truth and when you are lying. So tell me, I will try to understand you. Jungkook looked at her when his eyes filled with tears and hugged her tightly. Jungkook. I don't know, Mom. I don't know what's happening. I'm really confused about everything. Mrs. John patted his back and hugged him. Mrs. John. Calm down, Jungkook. Stop crying first and then tell me. Jungkook explained everything about the text and how you had told him that he is not special to you. Though it was said teasingly, he took it seriously. He described how you both don't share the same bed, your relationship is not like that of normal couple, and he feels that whenever he tries to come close or put efforts into your relationship, he believes that you neglect everything and that you are still not comfortable or happy with him. Mrs. John tried to understand the situation and looked at Jungkook, who was still sobbing. Mrs. John. Jungkook? Jungkook, looking down, continued to sob. Mrs. John gently coaxed him to look at her. Mrs. John. Jungkook, look at me. Jungkook lifted his head and met her gaze, his eyes filled with emotions. Mrs. John. Jungkook, I think it's just a misunderstanding. It's all due to lack of communication. Jungkook looked at her intently. Mrs. John. Jungkook, firstly, it's really childish decision to behave rudely with her so that she might leave you and be with someone else. I don't know what's on her mind, but I can assure you that she loves you. I saw that love and pain in her eyes for you. Her words offered comfort and understanding, reassuring Jungkook that your feelings for him were genuine and that there was a path to resolution through open communication. Mrs. John. Jungkook, I have seen her being worried for you. I have witnessed the pain in her eyes. You might have been unconscious, but she was the one who was fervently praying for you. With each passing minute, her love was emanating through her prayers. Your wife, While she might have her own ways of expressing her emotions, but believe me, her love for you is undeniable. Her compassionate words aimed to emphasize the depth of your feelings and reassured Jungkook that the love you held for him was authentic, even if it wasn't always overtly expressed. Mrs. John, and regarding the text, there is a possibility that it could have been spam or some other misunderstanding. If she were in a different relationship, it's likely that she would have saved that contact, but she didn't. It's also possible that the text didn't hold much significance for her. As for not sharing the same bed, perhaps she needed time and space to adjust. You must try to understand things from her perspective. Jungkook, her words encouraged Jungkook to consider alternative explanation and give you the benefit of the doubt, rather than letting insecurities cloud his judgment. Jungkook was looking at Mrs. John and understanding. Mrs. John, and today she was just taking care of you and you shouted at her. She must be hurt. You are just saying that she didn't love for you, but don't close your eyes when she cares for you. You know, when we reached hospital, she was just sitting in the corner outside your room, crying and sobbing badly. Her face was all red. By seeing her condition, I really got more emotional and worried. And when we left the hospital, she was the one sitting beside you and taking your care. Even when your parents were not with you, she was there for you. Mrs. John, and today I told her to eat something and she told that she will also eat in the bedroom with you to give you company. She didn't eat from yesterday. She was taking care of you and your medicines and neglecting her health. And seriously, after knowing all this, do you really think that she don't care for you or love you? Jungkook's eyes again filled with tears and now he was feeling guilty. He was realizing his mistake, that he is really misunderstanding everything. He was regretting so much. Mrs. John, maybe she didn't realize her love for you, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't love you. And you both have to solve everything slowly, and I know everything would be fine. Jungkook, realizing his mistake, was overwhelmed with guilt and heartache. He felt deeply hurt for shouting at you and for misunderstanding your feelings. He knew he needed to take things right and mend the emotional wounds he had unintentionally caused. On the other hand, you were driving and thinking about Jungkook's behavior towards you. Why? What happened to him? Why he shouted at me like that? Is he really got injured at his head? Idiot. You were talking to yourself when you got a call from your secretary. Secretary on call. Ma'am, I found out the residency of Mark. Wine on call. Alright, good. Send me his location. Secretary on call. Sure, ma'am. You cut the call and went to your office. When you reached in your office, you sat on the chair and rested your head back on the chair and started thinking about Mark. Flashback in college. Mark was a very bright student and so handsome boy that all the girls of the college had a crush on him. He was really good in sports and studies. And one day, you were sitting in the canteen when he came towards you, Mark holding his plate of food. May I sit here? Wine. Why? You can sit somewhere else. Mark. Actually, there is no seat around. You looked around and saw that all the seats were occupied. Wine while eating. All right. He sat in front of you and started eating. Mark. By the way, what's your name? Wine. None of your business. Mark looked at you. I was just asking. You didn't give any reply and continue eating. Mark. You like K-pop? You looked at him. Wine. Yeah. And you continued eating. Mark. Your favorite K-pop band is BTS, right? You looked at him confused. Wine. How you know all this? Mark chuckled. Mark. Sorry, actually I just guessed it. I saw your bag's keychain. You looked at your bag and then at him. Wine. Oh, Mark. By the way, I am Mark. Wine. Yeah, I know. Everybody knows you in the college. Mark. Yeah, actually, I need some help related to studies. Can you help me? As our exams are also coming. Wine. You can take topper's help. I am also an average student. Mark. Whenever I try to ask for help, they just keep staring at me and I don't feel comfortable around those girls. And I think you are not interested in me, so you can help me. Wine. Alright, what will I get? Mark looked at you confused. Mark. Whatever you want. Wine. Alright, then be my dance partner in the upcoming event. Actually, you want to participate in that event, but you need a partner for it, and the boys in your friend circle don't know how to dance. Mark smiled. Alright. Like this, slowly you both started meeting each other every day for study purpose or for dance rehearsals, and you both became friends. But Mark started liking you, and one day he proposed you. Mark, I love you. I love you so much. I am really madly in love with you, Vine. But you were really not interested in him. You just liked him as a friend, so you rejected him. But it was not the ending. He started trying to impress you by sending roses, gifts, etc. But you don't like all this, so you started distancing yourself from him. But he started being toxic. He don't even let any boy come near you. Whenever any other boy come near you, he beats that boy. And this behavior started to irritate you so much. But at your farewell, he again proposed you in front of the whole college. But again you rejected him. And this time he whispered something in your ears. Mark whispered, Vine, I will wait for you. And I know one day you will accept my love. I love you so much and I am ready to wait for you. And I will not let any other boy come near you. And if anybody will come near you, I will kill him. You looked at him and just ignored him because you thought he will just move on and he just obsessed with you. Flashback ended and time shifted to present. Vine. Why, Mark? You are seriously mad and psycho. How dare you to try to kill Jungkook? I need to confront you. You decided to meet him tomorrow. You called Mrs. John and told her to give Jungkook medicine. Time skips to evening and you went back to home. You were about to go to your room, but Mrs. John called you. Mrs. John, Vine, come have dinner with us. You nodded as you were really hungry. You did dinner with them and went to your room. When you entered inside, Jungkook was just silently looking at you, regretting his shouting and trying to find right words when you silently went towards washroom and changed into your nightdress and laid on your couch. Jungkook was not having guts to start a conversation when he noticed that you slept. Jungkook in his mind. Yeah, Jungkook, Vine is right. You are seriously an idiot. See, now she slept. I will talk to her tomorrow and apologize. While you were laying on the couch, Vine thinking, don't you want to tell anything? Jungkook, why you behaved like that? Yeah, please, at least speak to me. By thinking all this, you slept. Next day you woke up and went to office early. But before leaving, you kept the medicine beside the bed and put a short note there written, eat your medicine on time, please. You went to Mark's house well prepared with a mini camera discreetly attached to your shirt's button to record the entire encounter. Upon ringing the doorbell, Mark promptly answered the door with a knowing smile as if he had anticipated your visit. Mark, welcome baby girl, I knew you were coming. You furrowed your eyebrows as he grasped your wrist and forcefully pulled you inside, swiftly shutting the door behind you. The situation was becoming more unsettling by the second. You took your hand forcefully and freed your hand from his grip, whined anger and shouted, "Mark, how dare you to touch me?" Mark smiled. "Wine, I love you so much and I can touch you, right?" Your anger was boiling. Wine, shut your dirty mouth, alright? Mark calmly. "Darling, I love you so much and I gave you so much time to think and realize your love for me. I know you love me, you are just ignoring the fact. But no problem, I am here and now I will not let you go. You were mine and you will always be mine." He smiled, whined, "You are seriously mad, Mark. You need to approach a therapist." Mark, "Yes, I am really mad in your love and you are my therapist. You were about getting frustrated." Wine, "I am going and don't you dare to harm Jungkook, alright? And don't follow me." You were about to move towards the door when he tightly held your hand and pinned you to the wall. Mark uneasy. "Wine, what are you doing? Why were you defending him? And why were you leaving me? We both love each other and we know, right? And I know that this was your forced marriage. So don't worry, just give him divorce and I will immediately marry you. I can do anything for you." You were realizing that he seriously loves you and he is really mad in it. Wine, "Mark, please try to understand. Let me go." Mark worried. "No, Wine, no, I can't let you go. I love you and I waited for you so long and now I will not let you go even if I have to sacrifice anything." He was holding your wrist tightly. Wine, "Leave my hand, Mark." Mark, "No, I will never leave your hand. Otherwise, you will leave me." Wine, "You are hurting me, Mark." He noticed that he was seriously holding your hand tightly, so he quickly freed your wrists, which were now all red. But he quickly made you sit on the chair and tied you there while you were trying to escape. And after tying you there, he took the first aid and applied a lotion on your wrist. You were angry, but by seeing him, you were feeling bad for him. He cares for you and loves you, but you don't love him, and he is not ready to understand it. Wine, "Why are you doing this, Mark?" Mark looked at you with a mixture of longing and frustration. Mark, "Why are you doing this, Wine? Why won't you accept me?" You pleaded for him to understand your perspective. Wine, "Please try to understand. Love can't be forced, and you are forcing me." Mark grew more desperate in his attempt to win you over. Mark, "I have given you so much time, Wine, and you are still not ready? That's why I tried to kill Jungkook, so you could be with me. If you don't accept me, I will keep trying to harm him because he's the one coming between us." Upon hearing his sinister intentions regarding Jungkook, you couldn't contain your anger any longer. Wine angry. "How dare you, Mark? I will kill you if you try to harm Jungkook." Mark felt little angry and shocked. Mark, "Why? You will kill me for him? For that unknown person?" Wine, "For your kind information, that unknown person is my husband." Mark got angry. Mark, "Husband, my foot. That was just a forced marriage." Wine, "You can't understand, Mark." Mark went from there to his room while you were just lying there alone. Like this, time skips to night. Mark came to you with a plate of food. Mark, Eat this wine. Wine. Open my hands first. Mark. No, you will run. I know. I will feed you with my hands. Wine. No thanks. I'm not hungry. Mark looked at you. Mark. Why are you doing this wine? Eat it. Wine angry. I don't have appetite. Don't force me. He looked at you and knew that you were so stubborn, so he went from there. On the other hand, Jungkook was waiting for you as the time was 11 pm. It was so late when he called you many times, but your phone was switched off. He was getting worried. Jungkook. Wine, where are you? What if something happened? No, Jungkook. What are you thinking? Think positive. He called your secretary. Jungkook on call. Do you know where is Wine? Secretary thinking. Ma'am didn't came yet? Should I tell Jungkook sir or not about Mark? But ma'am told us not to share the information with anybody. Secretary on call. No sir, I don't know. Jungkook on call. Where she must be then? When she left from office. Secretary thinking. What should I tell you sir? She didn't came office today. Secretary on call. I don't know sir. Actually I was on leave today. Jungkook sighed. Alright. He cut the call and Jungkook was worrying for you and calling you again and again. While Secretary was also being worried for you when at 11:30 pm Secretary finally called Jungkook. Secretary. Hello sir. Actually I lied to you. I am sorry but the information was confidential. But now I think I should tell you because it can also be possible that ma'am can be in danger. Jungkook worrying. What? What happened? What information? Where is she? Secretary. Actually, sir, ma'am was suspicious that your accident was an attempt to murder. So she started investigating about it. And then she found out that person was none other than her school friend who had crush on her. So she got so angry that he tried to kill you. So today in morning she went to meet him. But she didn't came yet. And phone is also switched off. So I thought I should tell you because that person is dangerous. Jungkook was listening everything. Jungkook was now getting more worried and was feeling guilty also that you were doing so much for him, but still he doubted on you and shouted on you. Jungkook, alright, send me her location. I mean, where she went to meet him. Secretary, she went to meet him at his house and I will send you his location. Jungkook cut the call and hurriedly went downstairs. Mrs. Jeon, Jungkook, what are you doing? You should take rest. Your injuries are still not healed. And where is Wine? I mean, I didn't saw her coming today. Jungkook, she didn't came home yet, mom. And I am going to find her. Mrs. Jeon, oh my goodness, what happened? Where is she? Is everything fine? Did you again fight with her? What if something happened? Jungkook sighed. Jungkook, mom, relax. I will not let anything happen to her. And I will find her out. By saying this, he went outside and drove his car towards the direction of Mark's house. On the other hand, Mark was in his room, so you were trying to untie yourself. And after so much efforts, you did it and slowly got up from the chair when you saw Mark's gun on the table. But at the same time, Mark came from his room and saw you free. He quickly rushed towards you when you quickly held his gun from the table and pointed at him. Wine, little scared. Don't come near me. Mark worried. Wine, please leave that gun. Please. He took a step in your direction. Wine, I said stop. Otherwise I will shoot you. Mark, I know you can never shoot me. You were looking at him and now really frustrated and worried and emotional. Wine, yeah, I cannot shoot you. You pointed the gun at your own head. Wine, but I can shoot myself. Mark's eyes widened. Mark, Wine, put the gun down, please. What are you doing? Wine, let me go. Otherwise, I will shoot myself. Mark, Vine, what are you doing? I love you so much and you also love me. Then why you want to leave me? Vine shouted and emotional. I don't love you. Mark was little shocked. Mark shocked and worried. You don't love me? Vine, you don't love me? Wait, don't tell me that you love that Jungkook. You looked at him with teary eyes. Mark, no Vine, tell me, I am asking you something. Your silence is saying everything. Vine, yeah, I love him and I don't love you because love can't be forced, Mark. Mark was taken aback. The person whom he loves someone else. It was really heartbreaking for him. Vine, I love Jungkook and he is my husband and I am loyal to him and love him so much. So please leave me, Mark, and let me go. Mark angry. No, Vine, no, I will not let you live with him. I love you and you will live with me. Vine, and I can't live with you, Mark. If I will live, then I will only live with my Jungkook. And all this is happening because of me. You are getting hurt because of me. Jungkook is getting harmed because of me. And I know you will keep harming him until I am not with you. So, you were now getting angry and so scared and emotional by seeing his madness. So, you were getting so frustrated when you closed your eyes, tired of this emotional turmoil, and pulled the trigger and shot yourself in your head. But the gun was empty. Mark looked at you with so much shock. You opened your eyes and was shocked that gun was empty and you were still alive. Your hands were trembling. When you left the gun from your hands, your heart was beating so much fast. You were all sweating with the shock and fear because you thought that you died, but you were still alive and in front of Mark. Tears were flowing from your eyes. Your legs and hands were shaking. Mark saw you in this condition and he realized that you seriously love Jungkook so much that you can even sacrifice your life for him and you can never love him. Mark, Vine, you can go. And I promise I will not follow you and not harm Jungkook. You can leave. Mark in mind. I love you, Vine. I love you so much. But you love Jungkook and I know that you will never be happy with me because I saw that love in your eyes for him which I always wanted to see for me. My love story didn't had a happy ending. But in this, I can't ruin your love story. I would be happy if you would be happy. I know it would be tough, but I will make myself understand. He smiled. You looked at him and ran towards the door without thinking anything. Your legs and hands were still shaking. Tears were still flowing from your eyes, but still you ran from there. When Jungkook stopped his car in front of Mark's house, he quickly came out from the car and saw you coming out of his house. By seeing your condition, he quickly ran towards you. He held you in your arms when without saying anything, you fainted. He got so worried and took you home and called the doctor. When he entered inside the house, everybody was waking up as they were so worried for you. When they saw Jungkook picking you up in his arms, Mrs. John ran towards you. Mrs. John worrying. Jungkook, what happened to her? Jungkook, I don't know, Mom. By saying this, he took you to your room and laid you on the bed. Your face was all pale and covered with tears. Your body was all cold. When doctor came and examined your condition, while everybody was so worried for you, Grandmom worrying. Please God, save my daughter. What happened to her? Mrs. John, why this happened with my kids only? Firstly Jungkook and now Vine. What bad they did with someone? Mr. John, doctor, What happened to her? Please check fast. While Jungkook was worried and silently watching you laying on the bed, he was silently looking at you. Doctor, everything is fine, Mr. John. She just fainted. That's it. Grandmom worried. Why she fainted? Doctor, it can maybe due to shock, stress, worry, overwork, depression, panic attack, or maybe not taking proper food. But don't worry, she will be fine. By saying this, doctor went away. Everybody was worried when Mr. John told everyone to sleep and take rest because you are fine and Jungkook is with you. So let's not disturb. Mr. and Mrs. John went to their room while Grandmom placed hand on Jungkook's shoulder, who was just silently looking at you, somewhere worrying for you and regretting everything. Grandmom, she is fine, Jungkook. Don't worry, I will pray and I know she will be fine for sure. By saying this, she went to her room. Jungkook, why? I don't know the whole story, what happened at his house and why you were so scared. But I really want to apologize for everything. I am the cause for your this condition and I'm really sorry. Just give me one chance. I swear, I will not repeat my mistake. I am really sorry. While saying this, he started crying. His eyes turned teary. Jungkook, please wake up, Vine. I want to talk to you. I want to listen all my weird names you used to call me. I really miss them and the person who used to say all that. When he noticed a mini camera on your shirt and he pulled it. Jungkook, this is camera, right? Why she put that? When he saw the footage and recorded in that camera. Jungkook's eyes were filled with tears as he watched the entire footage. He saw the moment when you had pulled the trigger, the confession of your love for him and your willingness to sacrifice your life for the love. It all became crystal clear to him. He felt a mixture of emotions, gratitude, guilt, love and relief. Jungkook, why you did all this for me? He gently brushed a strand of hair from your face and leaned down to kiss your forehead. Jungkook, I promise I won't let anything like this happen again. You mean the world to me and I love you more than anything. He stayed by your side, holding your hand, hoping for you to wake up soon, knowing that he needed to make things right and cherish the love he had. Next morning, you opened your eyes when you saw him sleeping on the chair beside you, holding your hand. You smiled while seeing him and you were now relieved that you are finally at your home, away from Mark, and now you can live happily with Jungkook. You kissed his hair gently when he opened his eyes and saw you awake. Jungkook worrying, Vine, how are you? Are you fine? Vine, I am fine. Don't worry. Jungkook looked at you. Jungkook, I'm sorry, Vine. Vine thinking, sorry? Why sorry? Oh, he's sorry for shouting at me. Alright. I should also play along. Vine, sorry? Jungkook looked down as he was feeling guilty. Jungkook, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know you must be angry on me, but please forgive me. I promise I will never shout at you and will never repeat any mistake. You were silently looking at him, realizing that he is seriously feeling guilty. Jungkook, please don't be silent, Vine. Your silence really kills me. Talk to me. You can give me any punishment. I will accept it happily. But please forgive me and talk to me. By seeing him, you were feeling bad for him as his eyes turned teary. Vine, alright, Mr. Crying Cook. I forgive you, but you will get punishment. Jungkook quickly looked up. Jungkook, seriously? Alright, I'm ready for the punishment. What's that? Vine, I heard that you cook so well. So when you will get fined, You have to cook for me my favorite ramen. Jungkook looked at you and smiled. Jungkook chuckled. Really? Sure, my queen. Anything else? You are talking about ramen? For you, I will cook the whole meal. When you smiled. Wine. Yeah, we will see. Now you sleep. Jungkook. But it's morning and I already slept. Wine. Your wounds are still not healed yet. And who told you to sleep on the chair, huh? Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook. I really missed this wine. Wine. Oh, Mr. Jungle Book. Come out of your dreams and take rest now. When Mrs. John and Grandmom came. Grandmom. Oh, Wine, thank God you are fine. Mrs. John. How are you feeling? Wine? What happened? Where were you? You were silent when Jungkook spoke. Jungkook. She was in office. She was overworking. When I reached office, she was unconsciously lying in her room. Grandmom. Wine, take care. Don't overwork, alright? You smiled and nodded. Mrs. John. You know, Wine, we really got so worried when we saw Jungkook picking you in his arms. Jungkook. Yeah, I guess we should leave her now to take rest. Grandmom. Tell us directly that you want us to leave, huh? Mrs. John chuckled. And you and Jungkook looked at each other. Jungkook. Oh no, I don't mean that. Mrs. John. Alright, we know what you mean. They both chuckled and left the room. Wine. Who told you to pick me in your arms? Jungkook confused. What? You fainted in my arms, and at that time, should I wait for you to wake up and ask for your permission to pick you? Wine. Yeah, you should. Don't you know that you are also injured? What if your wound starts bleeding, huh? Jungkook. Then we will clean the blood and apply the medicine and do the bandage on it. Wine. Oh, Mr. Doctor, don't teach me, alright? Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook. You know, Wine, I'm going to buy a diary where I will write all the names you had given me. Wine. Really? Wow, nice. Now just take rest and let me do my work. I need to go to office. Jungkook. Why? You are also not well, so sleep here. Wine. Oh, hello, I just fainted. I am perfectly fine. Jungkook. But still. Wine. Yeah, don't argue and take rest. By saying this, you went to office. You knew that tomorrow is Jungkook's birthday, so you want to surprise him and you decided to confess your love. Wine thinking, should I wait for him to confess? But he is so shy and I know he will not confess. He will keep loving me but he will not confess. So I have to confess to him. Mr. Shy Man, you prepared so well for his birthday, a proper dinner date. You prepared so well for his birthday, the proper dinner date, the perfect gift, and a heartfelt confession to surprise Jungkook on his birthday. The following day, you were in high spirits, excited for the big day ahead. You wanted this day to be special, a memory you both could cherish forever. While you were at the office, you constantly checked your plans, making sure everything was perfect. Jungkook, on the other hand, has his own plans for the day. He had decided to make something special for you as a token of his gratitude for your forgiveness. He started preparing a beautiful handcrafted card with a heartfelt letter. When the evening arrived, you returned home, finding the terrace dimly lit with candles and a lovely aroma filled with air. Jungkook had already set the mood for the surprise dinner date he had planned. You were taken aback by the romantic atmosphere he had created. You looked at Jungkook with confused expressions. Jungkook. Wine, I thought we could have a special dinner tonight. Wine feeling surprised. A dinner date? Wow! Jungkook smiling. I thought we should celebrate something. Wine playing along. Really? What's the occasion? Jungkook a little nervous. Well, it's not something grand, but I wanted to show you how much you mean to me. It's a small dinner from me for thanking you to forgive me. Wine. Oh wow, I loved it. And who made all this food? Jungkook. Your most handsome husband. Wine. Most handsome? How many husbands are there? You both laughed at it. Jungkook. Acha, alright. Now let's eat dinner, otherwise it will get cold. You nodded and tasted the food. Wine. Wow, junk food, you cook so good. It's amazing. Tell me how much. How much salary you want? I want to assign you as my personal chef. Jungkook chuckled. Jungkook. Really? Thank you so much. And I will cook for you whenever you want. You chuckled and nodded. The dinner was filled with love, laughter, and shared stories. You talked about your favorite memories and your dreams for the future. It was a moment that strengthened your bond. Now you saw the time and it was 11:45 p.m. You didn't notice the time, you both were so busy in talking to each other. Before Jungkook can give you the card, you stood up. Wine. Jungkook, hurry up. Jungkook worried. What happened, Wine? Wine. Don't ask anything, come with me. You drove the car and took him to the location where you had planned his birthday. When you reached there, he saw all the preparations and quickly the firecrackers started bursting in the sky. It was really beautiful view. Jungkook was so happy and confused as he forgot about his birthday. Wine. Happy birthday, Jungkook. Jungkook smiling and a bit teary-eyed. Thank you, Wine. I really forgot about that. You both continued to enjoy the beautiful display of fireworks. The night was perfect and your hearts were filled with happiness. Wine. I want to tell you something, Mr. Birthday Boy. He smiled and looked at you. You brought the cake. Wine. I will tell you, but you have to cut it first. Jungkook smiled and excitedly nodded and cut the cake. But when he cut the cake, a small box was inserted in the cake. Jungkook looked at you confused and then took the box and began to open it. Jungkook. Is this your gift? Wine. Yes. Jungkook. Alright, then we both will open together. I also have something for you. He gifted the card he made to you. Wine. What is this, Jungkook? Jungkook. This is a small gift from me. You felt so good that he made a handmade card for you, so you began to read it. While Jungkook opened the box and saw there was a watch inside, he smiled, but his smile widened when he saw that on the other side of the watch dial there was written, I love you, Mr. Jungle Book. While your smile also widened when you turned the page and there was written, I love you, Miss Icy, in big bold letters. You both looked at each other with teary eyes. Jungkook. This is the best birthday ever. I couldn't have asked for a better gift than your love. The confession and your mutual exchange of love had brought you closer than ever. In the warmth of that moment, you both felt an unbreakable connection, knowing that your love would be a source of strength and happiness for the rest of your lives. Under the shimmering moonlight, you and Jungkook found each other at last. The hug you shared was filled with relief and love, expressing emotions that words couldn't capture. Jungkook. I love you, Wine. I love you so much. Thank you for coming into my life. Wine. I love you too, Cookie. The night turned magical as you decided to make the most of your time together. You had dinner together, danced under the starry sky, and shared sweet moments of cuddling. It was a night of love and connection, a reminder of the strength of your bond and the power of your love. When you went back home to your room, you laid on your bed. Wine. Yeah, I am feeling sleepy now. Jungkook also jumped and laid beside you. Jungkook. Me too. Thank you for the surprise, Wine. He smiled. Wine. Alright. Now go and sleep on the couch. I think you are fine now. Jungkook looked at you confused. Jungkook. Why? I will sleep here. You go. Wine. No. Be a good boy and sleep on the couch. Jungkook. Why? I will sleep here. Ouch, my arms are still paining due to injury. He started pretending to be in pain. Wine. Alright, if it is really paining, then it's okay. I will sleep on the couch. Jungkook looked at you and smiled. Jungkook. Oh, yeah, thank you so much, Wine. You are really so understanding. Wine. But I thought that we can sleep on the same bed. But now your arms are paining, so you should sleep on the bed. It would be comfortable for you. Wine smirked while Jungkook looked at you confused. Jungkook. Oh no, I mean you can sleep on the bed. We can share the bed. I'm comfortable. Wine smirking. No, Jungkook. You know I move a lot while sleeping. What if your injuries got hurt? No, I can't take risk. Jungkook cutely. Why? No, Wine, I'm fine. My arms are better now. See? Jungkook stood up and started doing some stretching. Jungkook. See, my arms are perfectly fine. We can share the bed. Wine. Are you sure you're fine? Jungkook nodded cutely. Jungkook. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Wine. Alright, then I will sleep here and you go and sleep on the couch as you are fine. Jungkook looked at you shocked and confused. But soon he realized that you were trying to fool him and he also got trapped in it. Jungkook. Yeah, Wine. Now what's the problem in sharing the bed? Please don't do like this, please. He showed you his big bunny eyes and you chuckled. Wine. You know, Jungkook, I'm really a good girl and I can't see you sad, so fine. We can share the bed as it's your birthday. Jungkook gave you a wide smile and jumped on the bed and pecked your cheeks. Jungkook, I love you so much. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, your love for Jungkook continued to blossom. The bond between you two grew stronger with each passing day. Jungkook's smile became the sunshine that brightened your days and his laughter the melody that filled your heart with joy. Your love for him was like a gentle, comforting embrace that wrapped around you, keeping you warm, safe, and loved. He would often surprise you with little acts of kindness, from preparing your favorite breakfast to leaving love notes for you to discover throughout the day. He knew how to make your heart skip a beat and your eyes brim with tears of happiness. Your evenings were filled with loving dinners, soft music, and deep conversation that connected your souls even more profoundly. You could talk about everything from your dreams and aspirations to your deepest fears, knowing that he would always be there to listen and support you. Jungkook also had his own dreams and goals, and you stood by his side, cheering him on with unwavering support. Whether it was a tough day at work, a creative endeavor, or just a moment of self-doubt, you were there to lift him up, just as he did for you through the seasons. You shared adventures, holidays, and quiet moments. The first snowfall that you watched together, wrapped in each other's arms, made your love feel even more magical. Springs brought new beginnings, much like your love story, and you couldn't wait to see what the future held for you both. And when the inevitable challenges of life came your way, you faced them together as a team. Whether it was a disagreement or a tough situation, your love remained steadfast and unbreakable. You knew that with Jungkook by your side, you could conquer anything. Your love was a tapestry of emotions, happiness, laughter, tears, and sometimes even frustration, but it was a woven with thread of trust, understanding, and an unwavering commitment to one another. Time skips after 7 years. You were sitting in your room doing your office work when you heard Jungkook calling you from downstairs. You went downstairs when you saw Jungkook and Junwo, your 5-year-old son, in the kitchen. Wine. Yeah, what happened, baby? You picked Junwo in your arms. Junwo. Mama, Dada told that he can do anything and he can even do better cooking than you. You looked at Jungkook and gave him a glare. Wine. Yeah, baby, he can cook, but not everything. Jungkook looked at you confused. Jungkook. Yeah, Wine, I can do anything. Junwo. Wow, anything? Jungkook nodded proudly. Wine. Really, Jungkook? Will you make something? I will tell you what to make. Alright? Jungkook. Yeah, sure. Why not? Junwo. Dada, don't you fear from fire? Jungkook. Huh? Me? Fear? Nobody. John Jungkook is fearless. You smirked. Junwo's eyes widened with excitement. He watched his dad, eager to see his fearless cooking demonstrations. Wine. Alright, Mr. Fearless. Let's see what you can do. How about making cookies? Jungkook looked at you shocked. Junwo. Yay! Chocolate chip cookies! You knew that Jungkook is afraid of microwave. That's why to challenge him, you told him to make cookies. When Mr. and Mrs. John came. Mr. John. What is going on, kids? Junwo. Grandpa, Dada is making cookies for us. Mr. and Mrs. John widened their eyes and looked at Jungkook and then at you. And they understood that it's all your plan. Mrs. John. Wow, chocolate chip cookies. I also love it. Mr. John. Yeah, Jungkook, make cookies fast. See, everybody is so eager to taste them. You, Mr. John and Mrs. John smirked while Jungkook was looking at them in disbelief as they were also on your side. Jungkook. Hey champ, do you want to eat something else? Like ramen, gimbap? Junwo. No, Dada. Junwo wants cookies. Wine laughing. Yay, my cookie will make cookies for us. Junwo chuckled. Wine. Baby, let's cheer Dada, alright? Junwo. Yes, Dada, you can do it. Mr. and Mrs. John were silently laughing while sitting on the couch. Jungkook glaring at you and thinking, yeah, Miss Icy, this is the perfect name for you, cold-hearted. How can you do this with me? Wine smirking. Go, Jungkook, go. I know you can do it. Jungkook frustrated cutely. Yeah, I want silence. Otherwise, I will not make cookies. You and Junwo put finger on your lips and nodded. Junwo whispered in your eyes. Mama, why you told Dada to make cookies? Wine. Because I thought you like it, baby. Junwo smiling. I know, Mama, you are planning something. Tell me, please. Wine thinking. Wow, Junwo, you are very smart just like me. Wine whispered. Because, baby, your Dada is afraid of microwave.
Junwo giggled. Junwo, really? You nodded. As he approached the oven, he hesitated and eyed it warily. Jungkook nervously. Guys, do we really need to use the oven? Can't we just make no-bake cookies? Junwo excitedly giggling. No, Dada, I want oven-baked cookies. Wine teasing. Oh, come on, Mr. Fearless. Are you scared of an oven? Mr. John chuckling. Jungkook, it's just an oven. You can do it. Mrs. John encouraging. We believe in you, son.
Jungkook reluctantly accepted the challenge, and that's when the hilarity ensued. As he tried to preheat the oven, he kept pressing random buttons on the oven control panel, clearly unsure of what he was doing. Wine teasing again. Need some help there, Mr. Fearless Baker? Junwo giggling. Dada, you are funny. Jungkook frustrated cutely. Okay, I have got this. I'm just double checking. After a bit of fumbling and accidental button pressing, Jungkook managed to preheat the oven successfully. He turned to everyone with a proud smile, but the oven timer started beeping instantly, causing everyone to laugh. Wine laughing. Jungkook, I think your fearless oven has something to say. Junwo giggling. The oven is singing Dada. Jungkook mildly embarrassed. Okay, I will get the hang of it. I just need a little more practice. With a bit more laughter and some loving guidance from everyone, Jungkook managed to figure out the oven and proceeded with baking their cookies. It was a light-hearted and funny moment, but it showcased the love and support in your family, making it all the more special. As the cookies were finally in the oven, the delicious aroma filled the kitchen. You all sat around the table, eagerly waiting for the cookies to bake. Junwo excitedly. Dada, I can't wait to eat your cookies. Wine teasing. Yeah, Jungkook, we have high expectations. After all, you are Mr. Fearless Baker. Jungkook smirking. You just wait. These cookies are going to be legendary. Mrs. John enthusiastic. I can't believe we are having cookies. It's been ages since I had chocolate chip cookies. Mr. John nodding. Indeed, we have our very own baker now. Just as you all started discussing your favorite cookie memories, the oven timer beeped to announce the cookies were ready. Jungkook, with a pot holder in hand, carefully opened the oven. The cookies looked absolutely delicious, and the sight brought a round of applause and cheers from everyone. Junwo clapping, "Yay, Dada!" Wine grinning, "Look, Jungkook, they're perfect." Jungkook proudly, "Of course they are. I am the master cookie baker." Mr. Jungkook joking, "Well, let's taste your masterpieces." The cookies were a hit, and you all savored them with smiles, knowing that these cookies represented not just a fun family moment, but the love and laughter that defined your life together. Junwo, mouth full of cookies, "Dada, you are the best." Wine teasing, "Indeed, he is the cookie master." Jungkook laughing, all right, I will accept that title." You named the oven Mr. Bernie Oven. Wine, taking a bite of the warm cookie. Jungkook, "These are really amazing. I think Mr. Bernie Oven deserves a round of applause." Jungkook bowing to the oven. "Thank you, Mr. Bernie Oven. You did well today." Junwo munching on a cookie. "Dada, you are the best." As the evening continued, your family enjoyed the cookies and shared stories, making it a night to remember. And as you all sat together, Jungkook couldn't help but feel grateful for the love and laughter that filled his life. Jungkook looking at you. "You know, Wine, I'm lucky man. I have got an amazing family, including a fearless son and a mischievous wife." Wine teasing. "Well, you are pretty fearless when it comes to everything else, just not ovens." Jungkook grinning. "True, but I have got my own two favorite people to help me conquer my oven fears." You both shared a sweet moment, and it was a reminder of the love that grown over the years. Junwo innocently, "Dada, what does mischievous means?" Wine teasing. "It means your mama likes to play pranks on Dada." Junwo giggling, "Mama, you were so naughty." Everyone burst into laughter, and it was a moment like these that made your family special. It was a night filled with love, laughter, and warm batch of cookies, the perfect recipe for a happy ending. I hope you like this series. Let me know in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Moral: love is a beautiful bond which can't be forced. It needs freedom, care, respect, trust, and time. Thanks for watching.